Hey everyone, welcome back to day 13 on our twin house build. The boss wanted us to start off the day by getting a lot of the main roof points started on the second house, then we're going to go back and finish all the trusses that we started the day before for that gable return. So just like before, we're going to get this dormer window completely set and framed. We're going to get some fascia on here so we can start running some plywood on this roof line, and then we also got to fix up some of these trusses because they're overhanging on the garage section. So around after lunchtime, we'll go back to the first house. We'll get the rest of those garage trusses ran and set. And we'll also get one side pretty much all sheeted before the day ends. For those that already have seen this process, I'll have a timestamp for all the new content. And for those who are just joining us today, I'll explain everything that we're doing as we go. So with that, I thank everyone for stopping by, and let's get started. So we're starting off with a girder truss, which is two trusses nailed together. This will be the right side of the dormer window. The truss plans call for it to be sticking in on the framing about 3/4 of an inch, something like that. I'm not sure why, I just do what I'm told, but that'll explain why we have to pack it out later. By pack it out, what I mean is when we frame the rest of the window, the framing will be flush with the framing below it, that wall that I'm hitting right there, and then the plywood will be able to run completely up it, smooth. But we get that one set pretty easily, and then we just brace it off with a block and then another 2x4. And now we got the left side truss girder. This one lies directly on that wall below it and tight to the truss next to it, but it still has to hang in that 3/4 of an inch like the other one. We get it nailed and braced, and then that's it for the truss part. We get the fascia on, which will be the end of the roof line for the shed roof. It turned out that these truss ends were not all the same length, so we did have to do some cutting so then we could get the fascia correct. This board, which I had pre-nailed for the pack out, turned out to be the wrong length because of that, so I had to redo that and slide it in just a little bit. If you're doing rough framing, you definitely need to learn how to beat the nails out of a board so you could reuse it. That was literally the first thing they had me do when I started framing about 7 years ago. Anyway, I get it where it needs to go, and then we're ready to put the fascia back on. You should plane it so that the top of the rafter will meet out with the edge of the board. Then we get the truss ends on layout and lift it up where they need to be. Then make sure you eyeball it for in and out so it's completely straight. Then we got the window header, which is just 2 LVLs nailed together with a 2x4 on top. Headers are there for support, so you want to make sure it's nailed nice and good to the king stud. Plus it's heavy, so you don't want it to fall. Then we measure the buck support, so then the guys below can cut it for us. And then we're just going to double check to make sure that this king stud is completely level. Are you measuring the girder? Well, from the girder in between, I got 12 foot hard corners. Yeah. We got the window seal in place, and now we're going to just get the rest of these cripple studs in.
Yeah, Jake, we went to sidelines. We even had a 6 table for you. 6 seat. Sidelines is good as fuck, dude.
I liked it.
No, you weren't there.
Besides you.
We measure to get the first one where it needs to be, and then I just pull layout off of that. Yeah, I like how usually they're always so soft and actually like crispy, you know? Yeah. Like over the crunching outside, just soft on the inside. They have crunch right there? Oh shit. Cheese. Oh, bastard. Don't hit it. Just do it still. Yeah. Just like last time, we're going to get these 2 rips going up the side of the dormer window, and then that's it for the dormer for today. Besides, of course, these little porch trusses, which just get nailed on the front of the dormer. Yeah, can we get the air gun? Oh. I was going to show Ashley the after free kind of too. Yeah. I don't want to do whatever I want. It don't matter. Yeah. That's the only time I have with the RPG. And the possibility of power. We're going yeah, I'll give no damage. Shoot the spike.
15 bucks on the table. It's like 14 fives. That giant cup right there.
We have to get the plywood on above the header and below the seal as well.
Know what was going on in that game? Like dice. But like,
On live bar?
So anytime you check or call, whatever you want to call it, you just add the book to your gun.
Yep. Oh wait, so then like you people are wrong, shoot them.
It's the best hand side for you. So like if you got three, now got two pairs, I'd be going to go to all the list.
Oh.
I think they got one though. Like let's say 16 table, and you go out queen instead. Like on your wire, and I got the bluff right. I get two blue suit every time I shot.
43 3/4.
Oh, man, shit. What was it?
43 3/4 for the whip. I got rid of the sheet. I got it right. 3/4. Was it 6 flip?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that. Is there like many games?
Yeah, it's like one person has a manual and one person has like the objective. And, yeah, the person manual has to tell you what to do.
I think I actually see that.
Just about that, we try to do.
I don't really know what's going on with the game. I kind of got the premise. But you're playing with Jesse.
She burned it. She spent fucking $2,000 on Sims expansion, dude.
Well, yeah, they were looking at them all. She's like, oh, I got all of these. I'm like,
Well, she burned.
I'm not getting rid of that board.
You probably like that out a little bit. I'll do this.
Before we could get this piece of plywood on, we gotta get rid of that board, which we used as a brace for the porch beam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but she was like,
Are you able to go down at all? Okay. Okay, there you go. Hold it.
I think I started playing again. I was like, share screen all the mansion.
You want my twice?
Yeah, PlayStation and PC.
Uh-huh.
But they're on sale right now. You buy all of them like 720.
Whoa. That's a good deal. You want to spend $1,000 on expansions?
Let's go out east, right? Go right on that one.
No. I got a couple clip. Yeah, I got it. This part you go down?
Yeah. I got a little edge.
I got the weight. How much was that? Oh, 16.
Maybe.
Okay, back. Oh, header, huh? Besides just looking to see where the stud is, usually you could see where the nails are, where you nail the stud into the sill, and then you could nail from there. Then we got to get this papered before we could run the porch trusses. We started off with a scrap piece, but I don't think it went far enough down, so we do end up covering it up with a better piece. When we cut out the window, we leave a flap at the top. That will come down over the tape once you get the window installed. We start to get it to where it'll go under our previous sheet, but then we just say screw it because it's so big we just end up putting it over the whole thing. Now we're on to these couple little porch trusses. We just get them nailed on layout so then they're ready for the sheeting. I believe these trusses stuck past the porch beam a little bit too much, so we had another guy who had to cut those little notch so then it could slide into the house a little bit more.
It's also not the smartest son.
Oh, he's only 100? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. I don't know how that one. I don't know, 3 hours.
Right. Yep.
I don't know that I need to, but it won't gain much, but
Oh, you're right. We got it already.
Everywhere for the win.
No big worm. You got where is what? Not that sour. Cutting through metal is never fun, plus it messes up your saw blades. Here shortly, you'll see me cutting through some of the garage trusses with a sawzall. Same issue, they just stuck past the garage wall a little bit too much.
They released one small trailer, if I can show you how it's gonna look. It's almost like a Ghibli style to it.
Really?
Kind of like old fashioned style.
Animation, yeah.
I don't know if anyone or anything, but I have the linear shit.
There better be some type of close canon, you know? Not canon.
What's some linear, some bosses?
Then it's just them making whatever they want with their IP.
What's your this? What is it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Get attacked in the fucking metal. What's the record?
The Mulliganers? Mulliganers?
Yep.
Yep.
Who?
Now we're doing the fascia for the main roof line with about an 8.5 inch overhang. I usually like to plane every other one and then nail the one in between after.
Come out in that one? Yeah. Or, oh, come more to me. Oh, yeah, no, good. That's right now.
When we get the next fascia board on, that's when we notice that a lot of these overhangs are not even, so then that's when we get to cutting.
Mostly just looks like that seam has come in a little bit. It looks like it's zigzagged a little bit. I think I might need to cut then. Look really bad right here.
Take it down, very good.
This one? That was a little long. Yeah, just bumped it out a little bit.
Alright, looks good. The rest looks alright then? Alright. Yep. Then, since the plywood for the garage door has to come straight up these trusses, we have to cut off these overhangs as well.
What about this one? Just cut up to here? might go over to this side real quick. Yeah. I got nail right down. I'm gonna use it with my hand. Keep going. I'm going to line real quick. That wasn't enough.
While I was cutting, my coworker was getting a 4-foot line ready to get popped. For these long spans, we like to pinch it in the middle so then it doesn't bounce and roll around.
Come on, a little bit.
Then I get the rest of these cut so we could run some sheets.
Yeah, a bunch. What? The truss we had came out. Oh, yeah? This one? Can I just cut it?
Now we're just going to get a couple sheets on and then get back to that first house.
Careful. Hold on. Close one out, that one. I'm breaking.
We get each end tacked on our 4-foot red line and then pull layout for the 2-foot in between.
75 will have like, that's really fucking solid points there, you know? I have the hoppers, yeah.
Now we're going to finish those return trusses that we started the other day. Once we got the main gable ones on, the rest of them would just be 2 foot apart. So now we just pop a line so we know exactly where it could go. We just get these lifted up one by one with the basket.
That's good for endo for me.
We get it good on our in-between line and then match it up with our valley line.
Yeah.
Then we get them nailed down into the plywood, and preferably you want to hit the trusses below.
Hold on to that for a second.
And here's just some of our in-between brace blocks. Then we just pop the next line and repeat until they get smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I can live with that, Brendo. Just a tiny clit. Okay. Oh, you just. I'm good. Endo. Yeah, I'm done. And then stick the head back down. Well, the shot showed up and yeah, when I got her, I thought it could have been him driving behind me, but that's fine. So we kept following me, so. And when I got out, I was well, I was like, no. Yeah, we know he's going home. He's a homer. Yeah, sidelines. I like it. Yeah. You want to be respected within 3 like that? It's like. He's going to push out really far. No. That was like 2.5. Oh, we have our Woody. Oh, yeah. Careful, man. Gosh. You think he feels so? I'm pretty close to my line. Ouch. Okay. Oh, yeah, that one guy, yeah. You like the spaceman? You like it? I like the forehead part. Yeah, it's like, yeah. I think the spaceman eyes are kind of cool, but I like that. I saw a spaceman on my end, pretty cool. But I won't get one myself. Yeah. It'd have to be, I don't know. It'd be life-changing. Yeah.
We only had some temporary braces on at first, so we're going to get some permanent braces on and get this completely level.
I mean, it's a little wobbly, but it's level. This one's not level. It needs to come out.
The first 2 trusses are separate gables, so they do need to be completely plumb before we start sheeting this.
Can we brace back one of the other trusses, or no? Yeah. Something, 8 foot.
I measure out a brace and I use that block as the anchor.
Yeah, probably. Just nail it while I make sure it's good. Like I said, it's really wobbly. Like my penis. Right there? Yeah, this other one needs to come out. So. Yeah, and we should make sure there's no blocks in the other gable. Yeah, I'm gonna knock these blocks out. Yeah, because this should be low by itself, right? There's a brace, though. No, not the other one. The big one. We're gonna. Yeah. Then, yeah, you got this one. Right there?
I guess I didn't catch the footage of us setting the last couple smaller trusses, but you'll see them while we put on the backer boards. We're going to get everything secured and set so then we could get on to sheeting it. But yeah, these are just simple 2x4s nailed through the plywood to the trusses below, and then we nail the trusses to the boards.
Huh? 7 foot, 5 foot. I got the big one up here. 2 5 foot and then like a 2.5 foot. I got stuff. Yeah, 2 5 footer. I got pieces for that. Oh my gosh. What is this?
We'll end up putting a small 2x4 or 2x6 ridge from that last truss into the roof. That's it for the framing aspect. Now we're going to get to sheeting. If you're not able to pull 4 foot off your straight fascia, what you'll have to do is pull your line number from the top. So you can just hook the top of the rafter, pull down in increments of 4 foot, and then usually add in an extra 1.5 inches, so then you'll still have your ridge cap space. So I set 2 helper nails. I'm going to throw the sheet above it and then keep my overhang like normal. Since I'm kind of starting in the middle of the span, I'm going to have to pull the layout on the top and the bottom of the sheet. When you're pulling a number like this that goes into the roof, you try to keep your tape as straight as possible, so then it's almost like a straight edge to get to the right point.
I usually play like friendly jokes and play banter, but you can do whatever you want. Chris? Oh, she may have said that then.
So we're just going to keep sheeting up this side, and then when we're done, we'll do the last piece or 2 at this bottom.
What? Move. You might have added an Eddie. All 3. No, you might be blank. Would you say business? Go on here. I need to come my way. Yeah. That's breaking. I mean, I can work with that. So we're doing opposite? Yeah.
Your bottom's good, you just need to carry your top over a little bit.
Okay.
When did that happen? How'd you know? Well, he said, oh, you're showing a picture after this? What a bitch. Yeah, Mopoku. This is 33 and a half. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, cut off. Lived a with my mom's children. Whoa, whoa. You dog.
This sheet ended up having kind of a gap at this upper part. I didn't realize it until I had most of it nailed off. I don't love it, but it's not the worst thing in the world, so what I do is I just end up cutting this triangle and replacing it.
Yeah, watch it. Big gap. your line.
Ooh, some jazz.
Yeah, the
One of those crash house and that guy gets at his wife and watch from the D. Oh, hey, very interesting. Why is that airplane?
That was off. I'll do it. So, do you have anything cut right now, or? I'll go, 26 5/8.
I give him a new one that's a little bit heavier just in case.
26 5/8 and then 28 and a half. No, that's a chest player, ain't it?
Yeah.
No.
I couldn't watch that show because that bitch was shooting my ears. It was picking out so bad I can't watch it right now.
Yeah, I like the overface.
Yeah, that's straight up these flies. I'm like, kill that bitch, dude. Over. Can't be either. That's how I'm just looking at that from Jason Hughes.
Not bad.
Well, first time he was such a fucking asshole. Next show she meets him.
Yeah.
All I talk about is you.
This seems way too long. I mean, I think you probably like an inch long, but. Or heck.
You know where that's from?
It looks bigger though than just that. That's what 26.
You know where that cactus tag from?
No.
Sweet Love Sack Cody. Was that Jimmy Fox?
Or nothing.
It was a do something to a blind guy. And I was like, he's like, okay, run out here. They just standing there the entire time.
You got a job? How old is he? 23? Not bad. Yeah. Did you already cut that piece? Yeah, we'll get used to it. Yeah. Yeah, kind of weird. Is that a small car? Is that a small car? I barely recall it. Dude, I tried to take it hard. Yeah. I thought I was more tour. Driving. Yeah. Oh, I'm gotta get thirsty again.
This pitch is a little steep, so I put another toe board up here to get my last row on.
I know what you would do. Can I slap it? Yep.
Let's be breaking down this scene. Right here.
Yeah, it's in the bottom. One over should be. Well, we want to break one over on this one. Yeah, it's at the bottom. Just a little bit. And it's artificial. We made it that way. Oh, it probably does. It started when we started putting it in. Wait now. Oh. Yeah, back on the other side. With me.
Dylan had a car. It was a brand new Hyundai that he was on.
Hyundai?
I don't know.
Oh, Hyundai thing.
But yeah, slap that one.
What do you do with slap stick?
You slap it. So like right there, like, and it's
Oh, it's way easier. Yeah, plastic sounds better than normal shit.
The new one's cool with a paddle that the Lamborghinis used to have.
What do you mean by that?
It's right steering wheel, it's like behind the steering wheel.
Oh, it's like a trigger.
Yep.
Write this down, 81 half. Yeah. And 2 foot rips, which are the most excellent. First year in MF.
So that's about it for day 13. We get another sheet or two on and call it quits for the day. So on day 14's video, we'll get the rest of this roof fully sheeted and closed in, and then you'll see me finish out both of the front gables completely. So make sure you stick around, in only a couple more days we'll have both of these houses completely finished. So as always, if you've been liking what you've been seeing, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more. And if you have any tips, criticisms, or comments regarding my work or my video, definitely drop a comment and let me know. This has been Old Dirty Carpenter, and I'll see you on the next workday.
Huh? 93.
these rips.